If you want to be harvesting fresh veg from your plots in June, that very last stretch of the hungry gap before your summer crops kick in, you can't wait for March or April. You have to start today. Hello and welcome back to the No Dig Norfolk Gardeners, where we look to grow our vegetables all year round using the No Dig method. Today, we shall be starting our seeds for those crucial early summer harvest, the things that will feed us in early June. And also, many of you said you would like us to do a sweet potato grow along. Today is that first session. So whether you've got huge allotment, a back garden like us, or just a small patio that you grow on, grab those trays and let's get sowing together. But before we even open a seed packet, I have a question for you. What type of compost do you use? Do you use a peat-based compost or a peat-free compost? Do you find buying your compost expensive? Let us know in the comments. First up, the most important seeds that we need to sow today, which are the Brassicas. Now, we sowed some Brassicas last May, and they're still in our plots now. We have the Oriole cauliflower, we have some cabbages, and they're just waiting to give us a harvest during April and May. But after May, there are no more. So, we need to get sowing now so that we can have these to eat come June. And today I'm going to be sowing a cabbage called Primo Golden Acre. I'm also going to be sowing Albert, our old favourite Skipper, that wonderful cauliflower. And, of course, we wouldn't be without Calabrese at that time of the year. And our go-to variety will always be Marathon. The first thing we're going to sow are some cabbages, and as with all brassicas, what I like to do is to sow 2 seeds per cell, and this is so that it improves your chance of getting something in each cell. If you only put 1 seed in there and it doesn't germinate, you don't have a chance of growing it. So by putting 2 in there, it increases your chances, doubles your chances of getting something. And all you need to do is thin to the strongest seedling. Next, the cauliflower, that lovely Skipper. And for those of you that did grow it with us last year, you'll know just how magnificent a cauliflower that was. And most welcome at that time of the year. Probably the summer, the early summer varieties, they're the most difficult to grow because they have to put up with the heat that we have at that time of the year. And then lastly, some Calabrese Marathon. Just as before, 2 seeds per cell. Now, I'm doing slightly more of these. I'm actually doing 10 cells of these. The grandkids really do love the Calabrese broccoli. So, as well as doing them in the individual monthly rows that I do, I'm also going to sow a separate row of these Calabrese so that we have a few more. And that's the great thing about when you grow your own, you can decide what you're going to grow, how many, why you want to grow it. And I'm often asked, if I'm a beginner gardener, what should I grow? And I have a very simple answer to that. You grow what you like. Don't grow what you don't like, because you won't eat it. You may pat yourself on the back because you've managed to grow something, but if you don't eat it, there was no point. Beginners always worry that if they start these brassicas off, that they'll end up becoming quite leggy, stretching towards the light, which reminds me of a question that Mark Shaw, he asked us about whether we would be putting our early brassicas under grow lights. And the answer to that is no. No, brassicas don't need grow lights. So long as you've got somewhere where they're not going to absolutely be in freezing cold temperatures, they'll be absolutely fine. all I do is take them down to the house and let them germinate there, and then they come, in our case, back up to the polytunnel or in our Vivor mini greenhouse. In fact, you can see here just how well the onions are doing. Pretty much like the Brassicas, they don't need really warm conditions. Talking of onions, we have some alliums to sow next. And we're going to start with shallots. Zabroon. February is the month to sow shallots from seed. Unlike sets, you tend to sow them before the new year. Some people say traditionally they sow them on the very shortest day of the year and they harvest them on the longest. But when it comes to sowing seeds, February is the time. Last year we were able to multi-sow these seeds and we got some really good harvests. Not the huge big bulbs that we're used to, but nevertheless, nice sized bulbs, and you get more of them in the space that you're growing, in the same way that we do our onions. So I'm going to aim for 5 to 6 per cell. If you're new to gardening, multi-sowing is a fantastic method and a great way to sow certain vegetables, not all. Beetroot comes to mind, spring onions, and onions themselves. You just get more of your vegetable from the same space. Yes, you get slightly smaller actual shallots or onions or beetroot, but when you add all of them together in the space that they're in, well, you get far more than just that one rather large single bulb. And we're still eating our Zabroon shallots from last year's harvest. I'm actually doing a few more this year, mainly because I'm sowing all of them, because we didn't quite know what was going to happen when we multi-sowed them last year. I did some and some, so some were single and some were multi-sown. But now that we know it works, and it works really well, they're all being multi-sown this season. Spring or salad onions, however you like to title them, they're the same. Only I'm aiming for, well, anywhere between 8 and 10 seeds. And the great thing is that you can see here that these are some that we sowed last August to overwinter, and they really are long from us being able to eat those. And you get a whole bunch. You just go to your clump, pull them out, and you got a whole nice bunch of spring onions. But if you don't want a clump, like you might be living on your own or something and growing your spring onions, you can just twist the largest ones out. Maybe just do a row of 6 or 8 and just go to each row and take the largest one out, leaving the rest to grow on. And I think it works absolutely fantastic to multi-sow spring onions. Now this is a variety called Ishikura, and it's our favoured spring onion for the spring and summer months. The ones that you've just seen, they are a variety called Guardsman. And if you do happen to miss any of the varieties that I talk about, then I'll link in the description our video we put out in January, where we tell you exactly our plans for this year and which varieties we are growing. So you can always click on that and you'll be able to see every variety that we are growing this season. The next thing I'm going to do is to start some more Mizuna, Wild Rocket off, and some more salad bowl. Now that's a wonderful harvest of these, but after a while they do want to reach up and go to seed, make a flower. So all I've done is just refreshed the top couple of inches of compost, mixed in a little fish blood and bone, And then we'll get a second crop out of these tubs. There's the Mizuna. Really enjoyed the Mizuna this year, haven't we?
Yes, that was really lovely.
Still a little early to be sowing your regular lettuce. That wants to be toward the end of this month, and indeed even into March. At the moment, if you're going to be sowing some salads, then they want to be winter hardy ones. So it's going to sprinkle us over a little bit of vermiculite. We don't need a lot, they'll germinate quite nicely. But these ones will stay up here. They will germinate up here, and they will grow up here. And they'll give us harvest right up to probably, if we sow some Webb's Wonder and Little Gem toward the end of this month, March, April, May. Yeah, well, these will take us through to sort of May time, when the next wave of lettuces will be ready and available for us to eat. This pak choi has done remarkably well and is still giving us harvest even now. But it is time to sow some more. Mrs. W has already sown some more pak choi and some more spinach for us to put out as we approach the spring. And that leads me nicely on to a question that I had from Vanessa. Vanessa, you told me that you've got some nice new trestle tables to go in your polytunnel. Congratulations on that. I would like something new. But in regards to your pak choi that you're going to start off, my advice would always be to take them down to the house to germinate. They just need a little bit of heat to help them germinate and germinate that little bit quicker. Once they have germinated, they're a brassica. They can come out into your polytunnel so long as it's not really going to freeze really badly. And they'll grow on in the nice full light that your polytunnel can offer. Now to the flavour boosters. Herbs. Couldn't be without herbs. We use a lot of them actually, don't we, in our cooking?
Yes.
And today I want to start 3 of them off. First one I'm going to do is coriander. I don't tend to sell lots and lots of coriander all in one go. We tend to sort of really sow it little and often, so as and when we need to sow it. Next, some more parsley. You may remember some parsley that we sowed. When was it? Was it October or November we sowed that? That's down in the house.
Can't remember now.
No.
I think it might have been October.
Yeah, I think it was. But anyway, we've been enjoying that all through the winter months. Of course, it never gets too large because it's restricted by the pot that it's in. And I've just seen something that I really need to do, because you know that Mrs. W, she does tell me off if I don't do things right.
Somebody's got to
pretend that we never saw that, hadn't labelled it. In all honesty, it is really important to try to get in the habit of actually labelling as you go along. And last of all, some thyme. Some timey-wimey.
Yes, David Tennant, Doctor Who.
I'll be a bit Doctor Who, you know, Mrs. W.
If you say so, Mr. Wilson.
Oh, you're Star Wars lady,
I'm
aren't
very
you?
much more Star Wars than Doctor Who, yeah.
Thyme is probably the herb that we use more than any other, because it can be used in such an array of different cooking recipes. This is one of our sweet potatoes from last year's harvest. Had a really good harvest of these last year, didn't we?
We did. We did.
So today begins our grow along. We would normally buy slips. We bought slips last year, and if my memory serves me right, I bought them from Sutton's. So if you're going to do the grow along with us and see if you can get some nice harvests of sweet potatoes, then you'll need to order your slips. It's probably best to do it now before they run out. They won't arrive to you until May, because you don't plant these out until well after your last frost date. But what you can also do is to grow your own slips, and that's what we're going to attempt to do first. As far as I know, there are 2 different methods you can use to create your own slips, and that's the water method. But we're not going to be using that. We're going to be using a method where you just simply plant this into the soil. Mrs. W's been doing her research on this, and you have to plant with the pointy end up. Now, I know this is going down a bit and look confusing, but this is the pointy end of the potato. This is where things are going to sprout from, and the roots are going to come from down here. All we're going to do, I've just filled a container with some compost, and I'm just going to make a small little indentation, and I'm going to plant the potato just like that.
It doesn't need to be covered. You can cover it, I believe, but it doesn't need to be covered.
All right.
So, yeah. So
and then, do we need to water it or anything, or
yes.
just leave it?
No, I will water that when we take it down to the house, because it will need the heat mats, or definitely a nice warm windowsill or a radiator or something to help that along.
Right.
Let's put it with a saucer of water so it's got like a... Don't want it to rot, but I don't think it would actually rot, but you keep it moist and just keep an eye on it, sort of thing. Hopefully we're going to be successful. And if we aren't, hopefully one of you guys will be.
We're phoning you up asking you for seeds.
Yes.
So, yeah, that's the sweet potatoes episode 1. Now, I'm not doing a dedicated step 2 or step 3, so you will need to make sure that you keep watching the video so that you don't miss when we do the next update or the next thing that you need to do. So if you're not subscribed to the channel, then don't forget to hit that subscribe button, and then you won't miss any video that we upload. There we have it. We've done the Hungry Gap Fighters and the flavour plants, the things that will give us flavours in our recipes. We've also started a sweet potato off to hopefully get some slips. I've left a link to our shop in the description, so anything that we've used today and you want to know where we've got it from, just click on that link and it will take you to our shop. If you're not sure what you could be sowing during the month of February, then why not watch this video next?